What's up, and welcome back to another episode of Insights, the podcast built to help you with your recruitment and digital marketing. I'm joined this week by Steve Gibson. Steve, how you feeling, buddy?
Good, Brad. How are you, man?
I'm good. I haven't seen you in a while. How have things been?
They've been good. I've been watching you go on this, I feel like this intellectual journey, talking to all these unique people with all their perspectives and unique backgrounds. So I felt I felt a little jaded. I'm not gonna lie.
Fair. We did talk about it via Slack. Yeah.
I've listened to him though, so it's cool.
You're like the ex that still keeps in touch.
Yeah, just checking all your socials. Just up late at 1 a.m. just scrolling on Brad's profiles.
Just looking at my LinkedIn. I appreciate that. Yeah, we've brought on some new guests recently. We've had Sean come and talk about SEO. We had Rachel come and talk about sales funnel automation. David came on and talked just overall marketing. We had Becca Stearns, our creative director, come on and talk about how to build brand in 2025, 2026. Just brought in some new unique members from Team Haley to talk about some of their specialty areas, which is something that we hadn't really done with Insights in the past and something that we wanted to try. And I think the audiences like them a lot. Bringing on these subject matter experts to talk specifically about the areas that they excel was really good conversations. I mean, I use them as like therapy sessions. I'm just asking good questions to people that are brilliant and smarter than me about certain topics, right? And having a general curiosity about things. And it's interesting. I feel like if I learn something from the show, and I've done this for 13 or so years, then our listeners are absolutely learning something every time they tune in.
Yeah, and anytime you can be, a sponge and just listen and absorb from people that know what they're talking about is great. So,
yeah. How are things over on the RW side of ops? How any fun calls you've been a part of lately?
I'm trying to think of any fun call. Fun is an interesting
fun
word.
Calls and staffing and recruiting at a time like this.
Yeah. I've had some fun cold calls that I've got just like completely just annihilated on.
Really?
Yes. So I'm doing a lot of cold calling again because I've never really stopped, but we have some programs and things we put in place to help do that. But man, recruiters need to cold call recruiters sometime. I know they cold call themselves every single day, and I know it's tough. But man, sometimes, guys, I'm going to call you out here. You guys need to cool it, like in the way that you treat people. Can we say that? Is that okay to like give like some friendly advice to our clients? Like if someone calls let's put it in this perspective.
I think it's a good point though, right? I think it's a good point because if recruiters are cold calling, they expect to have a nice conversation with the other end of that call. And Steve, it sounds like you got yelled at, buddy.
I've got yelled at a lot. And that's okay. That's the nature of cold calling, right? So I'm used to it. Thick skin. I've been doing this for 15 years. So I get it. It's fine. But for people that are calling every day and introducing themselves to candidates and just wanting the opportunity to present that job or that career, that next path to them, or even if it's a client, your services to impact their career. And all you need is just that conversation. And we know the power of a conversation that can change someone's life, right? And if you just take 5 minutes, what that can do for you. And that's the whole kind of recruiter's kind of mantra of cold calling. Just give me 5 minutes. We'll see if it's a fit. If it's not, that's great. No worries. Man, some people won't even give me 30. I had one guy, hey, I'm Steve Gibson. He goes, terrible pitch. Hung up. I'm like, I was just saying my name, man. So I called him back. He didn't pick up.
There's a great episode of Take the Stage with Dan Fisher from Menemsha Group, which is all about disarming the prospect in a cold call. Yeah. Absolutely love that episode. So if anybody is listening and you're thinking, you know what, I'm hearing a lot of what Steve is getting to as you're calling your prospects, you're even cold calling individuals that you're trying to get business from, I would encourage you to go check out that episode. Not to derail where your train of thought was going, Steve, but I do want to make sure we plugged in because that was a fantastic conversation.
It was. I actually listened to that one. Yeah. So it's just be kind. Come on, guys. Yeah. It's pay it forward.
Yeah.
Don't pay the anger.
Or don't pick up the phone call, right? Don't pick up the phone and yell at me. Just screen the call and don't pick it up.
True. Yes, you could do that. 100%. But anyway, that's cold calling. So I'm not complaining about the nature of what that is because it just is what it is. But if you ask me about interesting conversations, those are always the most interesting and fun conversations. But
it sounds like it, man. I don't do any of that in my seat. I'm just having good conversations with current clients or, prospects that come in because of the show or because of conferences, things like that. People I already know for the most part.
Well, here's the thing with cold calling. I'll plug the effectiveness of cold calling just from the perspective, and I can't explain this, but there is something about good things happen when you're on the phone. Not necessarily with the individual prospect, but the momentum that it builds. And when let's say you're cold calling, you're going through those processes, and then you jump onto a planned or scheduled call with a warm lead or somebody that you already know. There's something that cold calling gets you into a mindset to be better prepared and more articulate and better on those other calls that maybe have a little bit more weight to them. And I don't know why. But it's kind of like if you're playing shortstop, if you're kind of moving to the direction of the ball already and anticipating that even before it pops off the bat, you're quicker to get where you need to be. And I think there's something to it like that. So,
I mean, it's practice reps, it's getting ready, it's anticipating what's coming your way. It's almost even having a slight guard up, and then you're going into a call that's warmer, so you don't need to have that guard up, but it helps you, enables you a little bit to be probably thinking a little faster at the time. Interesting. Very interesting. Steve, I want to talk to you today about omnichannel marketing. And it's a topic that you and I are going to talk about on Smart Ideas Summit 5, which is taking place at the end of September. We're going to put a link to that in the show notes if you have not registered for it yet. It's an all-day virtual conference that Haley Marketing is putting on. I believe there are 14, maybe 16 different speakers. I apologize for not knowing the number off the top of my head, but essentially from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., there's a new session every 30 minutes. So if anybody wants to do the quick math, that's how many talks there are with a short break for lunch. Sessions from people at Haley Marketing and sessions from people outside of Haley Marketing, most of which have been on Take the Stage. I know we have Patrick Morin, we have Benjamin Mena, we have Rochelle Carrington. We have, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, one or two more guests. I apologize for that, not knowing that. But then we also have quite a few people from Haley Marketing, all sharing different talks and different topics, basically like TED Talks for the staffing and recruiting industry. So again, if you haven't signed up, we'll put a link to that in the show notes that you can sign up for Smart Ideas 5. But Steve, you and I are talking about omni-channel marketing and why we need to be everywhere in, let's just jump to it, 2026. I mean, 2025 is almost over as far as I'm concerned. So why staffing firms and recruiting firms need to be everywhere in 2026. Steve, let's start right from the top. Do you in your heart believe recruiters and staffing firms need to be everywhere in 2026?
In my heart of hearts, Brad?
Yes, your heart of hearts, not just your heart.
In my heart of hearts. Do I believe that they need to be everywhere? Yes. I believe that every business at this time needs to be everywhere. Let's say this, everywhere your clients are or your candidates are, which is potentially everywhere. So, I mean, staffing and recruiting firms, let's just say recruiters will take LinkedIn, for example, right? Because I'm on LinkedIn all day. I believe that all of my candidates and all my clients are on LinkedIn all day. But that's probably not true. They're not trying to sell their services of recruiting and staffing for prospective clients and for candidates. So just because I'm there doesn't mean that they're there. So I have to think about where they could be, whether it is, so if it's TikTok, if it's Facebook, if it's on different forums, if I'm in IT groups, is it Reddit? There's so many different places that people go when they're not working, where they're being more casual to being social, and they're not spending their entire day on a single platform. So yes, I think we need to be where our clients and candidates are, and that varies based on industry, level of professionalism that they're in, blue collar versus white collar. There's a lot of variables that play into that.
Hey, it's Brad taking a short break to tell you about my friends at MJA and Associates. For over 20 years, they've helped staffing firms just like yours save serious money by identifying and claiming federal and state tax credits, such as the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, handling the entire process from start to finish. The best part? With their performance-based pricing, they only get paid when your business saves. No setup costs, just real savings. Stop worrying about the Work Opportunity Tax Credit and let my friends at MJA and Associates do what they do best. To learn more, visit mja-associates.com. That's mja-associates.com. All right, let's get back to the show. I'm going to agree with you. And I think we need to first do exactly what you're alluding to, is running that, I'm going to say deep research, because I have AI on the brain right now, but sitting down and really thinking about where your target audience is active and where they're hanging out and where they're spending their time. And lasering in on who your ICP is, who your ideal customer profile is, who your ideal candidate profile is even, and thinking through what their biggest pain points are, and most importantly, where they're spending their time. And then when I think about marketing in 2026, I think we need to be everywhere. And the challenge with that is, certainly anyone listening to this conversation is going to say, well, how can I remotely afford that? How can I afford to be everywhere? And Steve, I think we can talk about that in a second, but we don't know where our potential buyers are going to be. We don't know when they're going to be actively listening, or when the right message is going to hit them the right way. We don't know, in the same way, when a candidate is going to need to receive a message. And I say receive, meaning actually not just see it, but receive it in the sense where it actually speaks to them. Where they're going to receive that message and say, you know what, I should call a staffing firm, I should call this temp agency, or I should call this recruiter. And because of that, we need to cast a wide net, because we simply don't know when someone is going to be ready to receive the message that we're consistently posting.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest key, is we don't know what's going to resonate, right? And when it's going to resonate. It may be the same message that you put out 2 months ago.
Yeah. But
that message today, for some reason, is something that strikes a chord in my mind and makes me think, oh, I need marketing, or I need, from a client perspective, or I need to be able to hire the right people, or it may be even situational. I had my director of operations leave yesterday. 2 months ago, I didn't even anticipate them leaving. I didn't have a need, but today I have a need. And so if you don't
need an auto shop until the tire falls off your car.
Most people aren't preventative in today's day and age, because 100%. things are so quick and things are so accessible to us. That whole 100%. Speed is the new currency thing. Well, that applies to the way that we approach being able to react to a situation. Whereas I may have planned more efficiently in the past for an oil change. Now I know I'd look at my car, and like the other day, I realized my tags on my license plate had expired 2 years ago.
Buddy, you're preaching to the choir.
2 years ago, because we don't drive anymore, right? But so I wasn't concerned.
My dad runs a shop, and I was still like 1,000 miles over my last oil change. Yeah. Because I don't go anywhere. Or no, I'm sorry. I wasn't that far over, but I was like a month over my inspection too.
Right.
And he's like, Brad, what are you doing? Like, I run the place. Just bring me the car. I was like, Dad, I haven't driven my car in 2 weeks. He's like, what do you mean you haven't started your car in 2 weeks? Then I went down this whole path. I was like, Bud, I work from home, and if I'm not going to the gym, the car doesn't move.
Right. Yeah. So that idea and that whole concept, think about that from how you're trying to reach your prospective clients and candidates. And they want it when they want it. But if that message is not there, or that they can't find you when they want it, they're going to go to the first person that they find. And so I think that's changed. That's what's a little bit different in the world that we live in, the importance of being a lot of different places at different times.
But that's also what we're saying, though. Why you need to be everywhere is because speed is the new currency. Okay, I'll get behind that. And I agree, right? If I have a leaky faucet at home, I'm not super loyal to Frank's Plumbing if they can't get there today, right? Yes, Frank's Plumbing has fixed a couple things in my house before, but if I literally have water in my kitchen right now, I don't even want to speak that into existence. If they can't get there today, I'm going somewhere else. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Frank. But the marketing that you deploy today, and I think a lot of staffing and recruiting firms miss this point. The marketing that you deploy today enables the speed that can come 6 months from now. Yeah. When somebody is looking for their next job, when somebody is looking for a staffing or recruiting firm, when a client or a prospect is looking to make that call, the marketing that you deploy today makes you the speed in 6 months because you've laid the groundwork. Right. And a lot of staffing and recruiting firms today, I believe, are missing that. They're taking marketing as a silver bullet solution where if I deploy a marketing automation campaign right now, I'm going to get leads right now. Or if I deploy a social campaign right now, I'm going to get leads right now. And yes, you might hit somebody the right way, and you might. And yes, we want to see leads coming in. We absolutely want to see ROI on every single thing that we do. But there is also something to be said for laying the groundwork so that you don't feel the way you feel today, 6 months from now.
Right. And I don't think, I don't think people believe it. I really don't.
Believe what?
Because believe that the idea of investing in your brand, when I say investing, whether it's your own time or an organization, right?
Sure.
Just investing in the digital presence of your organization yields results 6 months to a year from now. I don't know if people really think that there's a value in it still. And in the world that we live in, with everything that we purchase and the way that we purchase things, we're doing it every single day for every other product or service that we're involved in from a consumer perspective. Everything I buy and everything I've engaged in or service I've purchased is a product of it being visible to me when I needed it. But that wasn't something that they started the day before I needed it. It was something they started a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. But I still think there's a disconnect in our industry of people thinking that matters to staffing and recruiting firms.
Why?
Because we get so much pushback. I mean, the amount of conversations that
I'm with you. But why does the industry feel that way? I don't think I disagree, but I want to push you on that. So why is the industry the way that it is? Is it because we're so relationship driven that it's, Steve's always giving me an order when he's had an order, so I don't need marketing, because when Steve has a need, he's going to call Brad, and that's just the way it works. Is that it?
I think there's that. Yeah, I do. And I think that could be a lot of it. I mean, we've talked about this before, being people, they're more hunter mindset, right? And so if I'm hungry, I'm just gonna go make some calls and I'll get a deal. I'm that good at what I do. Now that's changing and transitioning because you can't get a hold of as many people as you used to get a hold of. People aren't picking up the phones. So I think that there's a little bit of that. I think there's a little bit of the relationship aspect that's there, of course. Like you mentioned that, Brad's always used me, so when Brad has a need, he'll call me. But again, in the world that we've lived in the last 4 or 5 years, most of those relationships have changed so much. There's so much turnover, and it's only going to get worse because all those people that you knew are either moving to other organizations, they're retiring. Right. There's all that transition. They're getting laid off in today's world. And so I just think that there's that general idea of I don't need that. And maybe it's that they don't believe it. Maybe I don't need this to be able to generate the revenue that I'm comfortable with for my organization.
I had Mark Whitby on the show a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about his feast or famine mentality that the industry has, where when things are good, they're good. And when things are bad, they're bad. And typically as an industry, the pendulum swings left and right. It's either feast or famine. And it alludes to the hunter mindset that you have. And it's when things are good, I'm going to hunt, I'm going to find talent, and I'm going to put somebody in an order. I'm going to fill the order, right? And Mark's whole philosophy is to create a signature solution where you sort of raise the organization to a point where you don't have feast or famine, you're just thriving, right? And absolutely go back and listen to that episode for a more in-depth analysis. And Mark's a brilliant guy. I was very fortunate to sit down and talk to him about it. But I think that's important, is we don't want feast or famine. We don't want to have some good months and then go into a 3 or 4 month lull. We don't want to have, like the industry's seen, a 3-year decline and hope for an uptick. We need to do something about this. And we need to be accountable to ourselves to say, listen, we're going to do something about this. Because just accepting, this is just the way the industry is, it's just bad thinking. And again, I think it comes back to, if you're omni-channel and you're thinking through, how can I be everywhere? You're laying the groundwork for when somebody does have a need. Because Steve, I think I'm with you. I don't want to say relationships are going away, because I still think there's value in good relationships. But I do think we need to be front and center for when somebody is making a decision, because I do believe that speed is the new currency too. I'm with you there. And if they are not thinking about you when they're ready with that need, they're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah, especially if for some reason you're busy or you're out of the office, you can't call them immediately. There's statistics on even when someone requests a service or something through your website. So say someone comes in through our website, requests a quote, is wanting some details on our overall pricing. If I can get back to them in less than a minute versus if I get back to them by the end of the day, statistically, I have a much higher opportunity to be able to close them in that deal than it would be if I got back to them even 5 hours later. I mean, it's crazy. I don't have it in front of me, but I know statistically it's much, much, much higher. And so that just shows, and a lot of people come to us, not only from our marketing efforts on our side, but also from referrals. I have a lot of great relationships I've built within the industry. And so software sent them to me. But if I don't get back to them in a quick enough manner, doesn't matter. They were also referred to 2 or 3 other people or other firms that they have relationships with. And they're going to go with whatever makes the most sense and satisfies their needs the quickest in the right way. It's interesting to see that. And again, I think potentially AI has clouded this as well. I think the industry is making a lot of progress from a marketing perspective. But I think then, so say we're talking about how to be sophisticated in our marketing efforts, building up strategy, building up proper marketing channels, being able to know that we need to be at all places and building that consistent content creation and utilizing the platforms that are available to us. That was happening. And then all of a sudden insert in 2022 AI and everybody then deviating and chasing that road and what that is and what that means for them, which isn't a bad thing. I just think it's taken a little bit of our focus away from what our messaging is, who we are, where we need to be based on our clients and candidates, and more about how do I become as efficient as possible, but also just this random content generation machine. And so it's an interesting dynamic that we're dealing with right now with that in the industry.
Yeah. As I look at what the best staffing and recruiting firms are doing differently, and it's something that I've been paying super close attention to this year. I've always looked at it, but when I made it a cornerstone talk for myself this year, and I've delivered it probably 20 times so far, and that's going to end at Staffing World in a couple weeks here for the year and wrap it up. When I look at what the best staffing and recruiting firms are doing differently, to go down this path, they're marrying the marketing in their sales system. And they're creating a system. And when we think about a sales system, they don't leave anything to chance. They know when they're going to make calls, when they're going to send emails, when they're going to drop in, when they're going to send a letter in the mail, when they're going to do everything from a sales system. Then they know how marketing is going to overlay that. So if I have a prospect, am I going to drip them with automations? Am I going to surround them with pay-per-click advertising? Am I going to send them emails? Am I going to add them to an email newsletter? What am I going to do with this prospect to surround them so that when they are ready to make a decision, because they might not need us right now, they know who to call. And in that, if I could have sort of this just hope for the industry, it's looking at 2026, it's thinking through, okay, how do I get back to looking at a holistic marketing system that overlays my sales system? How do I create this sort of umbrella that supports the sales team? Because it's not just one-off marketing every now and again when I feel like it or when I remember to do it. Posting on LinkedIn is not a marketing strategy if you're doing it when you remember to log in and do it. That is just something that you're doing to waste time. But if you have a strategy and you know why you're doing it, you're posting consistently, then yes, it becomes part of the mix. I'm saying, okay, if your sales system is these 10 steps, how does marketing get you to 20 to 30 touches with your prospect? Because you're overlaying it with other supporting marketing materials. That is my biggest hope for the industry looking at the upcoming year. It's being multi-channel, it's being omni-channel strategically, not just for the sake of, my competitors are doing it, or I know my competitor has a newsletter, but thinking strategically through how marketing overlays the sales or recruiting system and gives you more at-bats in front of all of those people.
Hey, it's Brad taking a short break to tell you about an offer exclusive to listeners of Take the Stage. 30 minutes of strategic marketing consultation with me, completely free. Hey, whether you're looking to drive more sales or more job applications, I want to help. Visit bit.ly/stage offer. Pick a time that works best for you. That's it. Again, whether you want to drive more applications or more job orders, I want to help. That's bit.ly/stage offer. All right, let's get back to the show.
So if you do it like that, then you get to take the tools that are available to us and pick the tools that impact that system
100%.
versus trying to have the tools and then working your system around the tools.
Yeah.
And because what that does, it begins to make you chase all these different softwares, all this technology. You're not knowing what you're actually needing, and you really have no defined path for that. And so if you have what you're saying and you create that process that then aligns with your sales and aligns with your mission and your vision and your values, the whole sort of strategic approach of who you are as an organization, that then all your recruiters and all your sales teams can adapt. And then you pick the right tools to be able to implement that. You have a much greater opportunity to be successful and consistent in what you're doing every single day from a marketing and sales perspective.
We're just past Labor Day, right? So perfect example. Labor Day, every direct-to-consumer goods company is putting out ads for Labor Day sales, right? 25% off, 20% off, whatever it is. I have said on the show multiple times, I love Legion's workout supplements. I use them specifically. I'll name them on the show. Obviously not a sponsor, but I still love their product.
Really pushing for that sponsorship, man. Really.
Oh my Lord. Just give me one phone call. Just give me a promo code. But Labor Day, I'm getting strategic emails based on the products that I've purchased in the past. I'm getting Facebook ads, again, based on products I've purchased in the past. I'm getting text messages, again, based on products I've purchased in the past with promo codes, all with promo codes.
Right.
Email, social, text. That's probably the only way they can reach me. PPC, right? I don't know if I saw any on Google, but I'm sure they ran them. Maybe I just wasn't looking, or I just didn't see them. Omnichannel. I can buy a protein powder at Walmart. I could buy a protein powder anywhere. I could just eat more meat. I don't necessarily need the supplement, right? I could just eat better or eat more. I eat pretty darn good. I can just eat more. I choose this one product because I know how it makes me feel and I like that.
Right.
Again, I have options as a consumer. I didn't buy it now because I didn't need it, but they're reminding me that when I do, to come back home and purchase from them. We see this happening around us, but again, to your point, Steve, as an industry, we're not correlating it with our business.
Right.
And again, that is my hope for 2026, is that more staffing and recruiting firms who don't want to go the way of the dodo bird and don't want to just completely close their doors, because we're seeing a lot of that, have the courage to embrace change, have the courage to embrace a marketing system that overlays their sales system. It just put in modern best practices, just best practices. We're not even saying to try new and exploratory practices. Just deploy the ones that we see working in other industries, but be omnichannel.
So you're saying that post I put on my company page that said, "Have a happy Labor Day" with an American flag and a hammer is not marketing?
Are you asking me? Do you really want me to answer that?
I mean, I thought it was marketing, Brad. I thought that was the extent of what I need to do for the 5 people that follow my company page to be able to see it.
I don't think that's, I think that is the bare bones minimum of what you could have done on Labor Day.
Right. I mean, that's the mindset. And I'm not saying it's everyone, but I'm saying as a whole of the individuals I speak to, I mean, there's a lot of that's there.
I don't think anybody on the planet is going to get upset if their local staffing firm doesn't wish them a happy holidays this year via Facebook. No one is going to miss that social post. But if we have some sort of seasonal spin that we could put on it, then yes, let's roll out a campaign around that. We can't offer 25% off. Our margins are too low already, right? Like it's just not, it's not apples to apples comparison. But when we think about the upcoming quarter, when we think about 2026, when we think about seasonal holidays, whatever it might be, is there something that you could tie into? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But no, there is nobody on the planet who is waiting for the local staffing firm to put out a happy Thanksgiving post.
Yeah. Here's something interesting. So I don't know if there's necessarily an exact correlation here, but so this is, just the perspective that I had. So the other day, and I do this every once in a while, I'll go through, I have a proposal system I use when I put together agreements for clients or prospective clients. And I will go through just years ago of old deals that I lost or I didn't win. Yeah. Not saying they went with somebody else. Most of the time, they didn't go with anything, or they went with a very simple, and these are typically centered around websites. And they go with a very basic kind of website that will invest the resources that just didn't make sense. That's fine. Most of the time, the ones that I know that decided to do it themselves or not invest in that website or actually use that as the resource that it could be, I'll look today and they're not in business. They haven't weathered the years and the storm of things that are taking place. This is going back all the way till 2014, 2015 is when I can reference these things and see it. I think, as in the same way that websites now I think most people have adopted, I need a good website. I need something that looks great, that represents me. I still think we're in the transition of, I need a great marketing plan. I need a great marketing process that complements my sales. And I think we're going to see the people that don't implement that. Again, whether it's something that they use a firm like us, recruiters websites or Haley Marketing, take that out of the equation. Just in implementing it in some form or fashion and being consistent, I think the firms that don't do that, we're going to be able to look back at those lost proposals or lost agreements and say, they're not in business anymore. They're not in business anymore because they never did anything about it. And that's scary.
Yeah, it's very scary. And again, I think it comes back to the point that I had said a little while ago, and I'm going to go back and listen to the clip here because I want to make sure I say it on Smart Ideas 5. Yes, there is direct response marketing. If you deploy, I'm going to sneeze, which is going to make for a terrible podcast, and we're going to have to clip it.
That's the video, by the way, you should use to start it off.
Just me sneezing. You know what? It went away, so we'll just keep it in. I'm not even going to tell the guys to edit it out. I've consulted with hundreds of staffing firms over the last year, and if you're anything like the owners or sales leaders I'm talking to, you're probably asking the same two questions. How do we open more doors to get more conversations? And how do we close more deals? Here's the good news. I've seen what works, and right now we're making it even easier to boost your lead generation without blowing your budget. For a limited time, Haley Marketing is offering 20% off our most powerful marketing tools for staffing and recruiting firms. That's door openers campaigns, custom integrated direct marketing, digital marketing solutions, sales automation services, and our exclusive Haley Mail content marketing system. We're limiting this offer to the first 30 companies that sign up. And if you're already a Haley Marketing client, the discount applies to new services only. So if you're ready to drive more sales in 2025, we'd love to help. Head over to bit.ly/Biley20 to learn more. That's bit.ly/Biley20, all lowercase, to learn more. All right, let's get back to the show. The marketing that you deploy today, and yes, there is direct response marketing. Yes, you should be looking for ROI in every single thing that you do. Yes. We're not saying all marketing is a long game. I'm not saying that. But the marketing that you deploy today should be created in a way where you don't feel the way you feel today this time next year. It is incredibly difficult to close new business right now. It's difficult to recruit and find talent right now. I don't want you, specifically the single listener listening to this podcast right now, whether they're in their car or driving or they're mowing their lawn, whatever it might be, I don't want you to feel this way next year. Just as if you were on some health journey and you say, listen, I got to get in shape. I don't want you to feel this way this time next year.
Right.
My belief is that if we deploy the right marketing system today, it will help us get to a point where this time next year, things are better. And I know that that's asking a lot, and that's asking for a lot of faith because we're asking for an investment. Again, whether we do it, Recruiter's website does it, you do it yourself, it's an investment. I get that. But we have to take the calculated risk in saying, listen, we cannot afford to continue to feel like this because we're losing market share. Our competitors are growing. Other businesses are getting better, faster, stronger. We need to be omnichannel because, again, I don't want to feel this way this time next year.
Yep. Amen.
Yeah. Did you hit me with an amen?
I did. Amen.
Yeah,
amen.
I feel good about this episode. I feel better about Smart Ideas 5 now that you and I had a little dry run at it. Anything else you want to say before we get out of this one? I think that was a good way to honestly just hammer home the point.
Yeah, I know. I think it was a good cap to it. So
there we go. Then that's our show. And thank you for listening to another episode of Insights. If you found this episode valuable, we would love to know. You can message Steve or Brad on LinkedIn and share your thoughts. If you have a question for us, you can tweet us at Haley Marketing or email info@haleymarketing.com. And of course, if you need a hand building your own marketing system that complements your sales or recruiting system, our team would love to help. We would love to chat about your biggest business challenges right now and how a marketing system could help make sure you don't feel this way this time next year. Email info@haleymarketing.com and be sure you tell them that Insights sent you. For Steve Gibson, I'm Brad Biley. We'll see you next time.